Hello, and welcome to this YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I'm a Master Manifester, and I'm sure you are too because you are watching content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting because I believe in the whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we're choosing to live. What I'm discussing in this video, and I just want to say welcome to, I have a bunch of new subscribers. And welcome back if you have a person that's already been here and you're enjoying the content. That's really nice to know. I talk about things related to manifesting these amazing lives that we're choosing. My topics can vary significantly, but sometimes they're usually centered around your personal development and being able to assert power in your life so that you can create the life that you want to live. What I'm discussing in this video is 3 major signs that you have made an energetic shift. And so when I say energetic shift, I mean that most of the time in our lives, we are moving through a certain type of energy, a certain level at which we're operating. We have a certain way that we respond to people, that we react to things, and how we think about ourselves, what we feel about ourselves. And that is what truly guides our every step of our day, our decision making, how we interact with others, and all that sort of stuff. When you are actively working on expanding and growing yourself and pushing yourself to new levels and trying to create an environment or trying to create a lifestyle or something that you want to experience in this particular life, sometimes we do not see that the work is happening, that the work is actually working when we're going through it. And when we are in process, we may lose sight of the bigger goals because in our everyday life, we can't see those little micro expansions, those micro level ups. We can only see the big stuff. And so sometimes we spend a lot of time waiting on the big stuff to happen when really there are always these signs or these small things that are going on that's showing us that we've shifted energetically, even if we don't see the big outcome yet, right? So I have 3 major signs for that today, things that I've noticed in my own experience and throughout time, every time I was moving on and doing something different. These are the things that I would experience. So number 1 is vivid dreams, vivid and lucid dreams, right? So we know vivid dreams are the ones where we can see clearly, everything is in color. We kind of almost know what's happening in it on our subconscious and conscious is kind of like, doing a dance with each other. And we can often retell vivid dreams when we wake up from them because they were so rich and they imprinted something on our conscious mind. So when we get up, we can share with other people, this is what I was going through. This is what happened. We don't necessarily forget it as soon as we get up. And then like lucid dreaming is something I've been doing since I was a little girl. It's just dreaming when you are seeing something play out and a part of your conscious mind steps in and it starts to alter what's happening in the dream. And I was just mentioning this to someone the other day that sometimes when you do that, I was in book club because I was like, where was I? In book club. And sometimes you start to do that. And I start to do that because I love stories and I love imagination. And the more I try to force an idea or try to manipulate the dream, the closer I get to waking up. So sometimes it's better when we are feeling like we're in a lucid dream to only hold back our desire to sort of push it into a really specific direction. And so something I've noticed is when I'm experiencing a huge energetic shift, and I was sharing this with some other ladies the other day, is that vivid dreams start to happen a whole lot more. And I think it's connected to the idea that when you are experiencing that shift, your mind is more calm, your body is more relaxed. You may be sleeping on your own without aids or without drinking wine or without, doing whatever it takes to get yourself into a sleepy mode. I love that just in the past almost a year in my life, I've been able to go to sleep without any assistance whatsoever, without any little pill or something like that. So just those vivid dreams are a huge sign you're able to retell them often when you wake up. and you know that your energy is shifting. And I like to attribute it to the relaxation or the new levels that you're reaching. It's like your body telling you, here's some new stories to ponder. Because this is what I also say too. The vivid dreams are often very fun. They're enjoyable. And like I could go on about some that I've had recently, but I'm not necessarily going to, but they've had like different celebrities in them and like conversations were being had. And I'm like, well, what is this even about? But nonetheless, you'll be able to get up and retell it to other people. Another thing is you'll notice that you'll have perfect interactions when you go out in public and interact with other people. This is something I've been experiencing a lot lately myself, but I've noticed every time I was on the precipice of a huge energetic shift that my energy would be creating this bubble of interaction with people that I wasn't necessarily in any kind of way consciously bringing into my space. I remember a last major energetic shift that I went through. I was sitting on a bench in the park, and it was a place where you can run and walk and all that sort of stuff. But I was just sitting there because I wanted to take a moment and just take in nature, and the sun was shining. It felt really good. And out of the blue, this guy came running by and he took off his headphone. He was like, oh my God, you're so peaceful. And I was like, huh? And he was like, your peace is so amazing. Like, it's just like expansive and like I can see it all over you. He was like, whatever it is, keep doing what you're doing. And he just put his little headphones back on and he just kept running, right? And so I noticed these sort of interactions every time I'm making a huge energetic shift. And then like more recently, this is okay. So being at the park today, I was walking through and just about every single person, if I'm going to say if there were 10 people, 9 out of the 10 people all said good morning to me. And if you've ever been on walking trails or out and about in places where people tend to ride bikes and roller skate and all that sort of stuff, they may smile, but they have on their headphones and all. They don't necessarily stop and chat like the way, like circa 1990 something, you know? And it happened 2 days in a row. I was just talking about the weather with someone, which I don't normally do, but she was going on about her dogs and how it's going to be cold again. And, you know, I was like, I'm getting the best of this nice weather while we have it because it's winter and it's 70 something degrees. This is beautiful. And then like today, same instance, it was so many good mornings. I was like, wow. I was like, this is very nice. And so you'll notice that when you go out in places, you'll have perfect interactions. About a week ago, my daughter was working on her driver's license and we went to take the road test. And the lady that we came in contact with at the counter, she was so perfect for our experience. First of all, for whatever reason, my daughter reminded her of her own daughter. And she was like, when is her birthday? And she found out that their birthdays were only 2 days apart. And she was like, she's so much like her, like the way she's, you know, carrying herself, the way she's acting. And it was just a beautiful experience. And she went on talking about her kids, and there was paperwork we didn't specifically have at the time, and she made an exception for it. It was all of those things lining up that we didn't even know what we didn't have. And she was like making sure that we had everything we needed and that it was a beautiful experience. And when she went to go do the road test, the lady that was out there with the road test with her was so easy and laid back and so, you know, like not intimidating to actually do that with. So it wound up being a really, really, really nice experience. So you'll notice that when you go places, people will give you things. It'll be really perfect interactions when you've made an energetic shift. You may not see the big things that you're looking for yet. You may not see the marriage you might be looking for. You may not see the lump sum of money you may have been asking for. You may not see the relationships that you want in your life to be improved. You may not see exact results of that yet. But you will see these little, I call them micro shifts in your life happening. And then the last but not least that I'm going to talk about today is that in these shifts, you often have no ability to worry or stress about anything. And it doesn't matter how big or how small those things are. You won't even have the energy or the mindset to want to be stressed about anything that's happening or occurring in your life. And I can honestly see this in myself. I mean, even in a previous energetic shift, I was noticing this. I was going through something to where I should have been nervous. I should have been anxious. I should have been up at night worried and like, how's this going to work out? How's this going to happen? And all these sort of things. And I just didn't have it in me to do it. And because I think we're so accustomed to using stress and using anxiety as a tool to cope through situations where we don't have control, or situations where it feels chaotic and we don't know what's coming next. When our emotions begin to get regulated, it almost feels like we're doing something wrong because we're not on the deep end of feeling a certain way. We're not like, sitting and bawling in tears. We're not having anxiety. We're not having these sleepless nights. It almost feels like you're cheating or getting away with something because you're like, I should be in distress right now. I should be feeling sad. I should be feeling overwhelmed with emotion. I should be going through all these phases. And it's just because we are conditioned to feel like we are not experiencing something fully unless our emotions are no longer regulated, unless we've come to a place where we're extremely stressed and we can't be stressed anymore until our body goes kaput. And believe me, I know all about that. It's like people used to say that thing, when you've done all you can done, then go pray. And now you may experience the mood or the energy or the desire to think, let me go and pray and give gratitude first. And then if you do that part first, you won't have to go through the motions of feeling stressed out, wanting to cry, wanting to, throw your hands in the air, wanting to feel exhausted, having to peter yourself out until you don't have any more energy left because all of your energy is going to what won't work and all the doom and gloom that's happening, right? It's like you won't have the ability to fall so deeply in the doom and gloom because you realize that it doesn't get you anything. And so when you start doing these micro energetic shifts, what I call them, when you see a major shift happening in your life, you won't even have the energy to give to things, to thinking about things in a way that they won't work. It's like some things you'll realize is that you don't have control over some things. So whatever way that it works out, it's just going to work out that way. And things where you do have control, where you can make a difference, where you can, assert your input, you're going to realize that it's not going to get better if you're not emotionally regulated and if your feelings and your reactions and all that are all over the place. And so it's like a logical spiritual experience. You start to get to where in a rational space, I know that there's nothing I can do to change that particular thing, but what I can control, what I can have some positive input on is the way that I react to it. And it's kind of like a deeper level because we always hear this sort of thing. But as we continue to make these energetic shifts and we continue to take our lives to a new level, we'll start to see more of these particular instances to where I thought this was going to be something that would take me out, but yet I feel regulated, yet I feel grounded, yet I feel like I'm standing on a firm foundation. Because at the end of the day, if something's going to go awry, if something's going to fall apart, and if something's going to be torn down, your stress and your excitement and your emotions and all of that, it won't have any positive effect on what's happening already. It won't make any difference. You'll have just gotten yourself tired and petered yourself out and gotten yourself exhausted, and yet nothing really has expanded or changed on the outside. So that's my third and final one. You'll see that you have no real ability to worry deeply about things and no real ability to be emotionally unregulated, because that's just a natural aspect of expanding into the greater versions of ourselves. Anyway, I have a gnat, I have plants. And you've got plants in your house, you're going to have some little gnats every now and then. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.